Thank you so much. Let me first apologize to those who are waiting in the Zoom that we are sorry for the late start and that they should please invite other members to join so that we can really achieve a lot today. The images that you've shown, Director Padi, really should touch every Ambazonian, every Southern Cameroonian. We need to just remember that in 2016, uh, we didn't know that we would have our people fleeing for their safety to neighboring countries, mostly Nigeria. And some of them have settled there for all these years. Some of them have died there. And some of them still trying to reach safer homes in the United States of America die in the Amazon. These are our people, these are our families. How did that happen? The simple answer is that it's a war that made understand that those of us who were originally colonized by the British are different from those who were colonized by the French. Because you don't see French citizens fleeing for their safety to neighboring Nigeria. You see only our people. Those are victims of war. And how do we support them? Ideally, I wish that it was possible to have a program like we used to when we were in primary school called Pen Pal. I was in primary school, I had Pen Pal in the United States of America. I wish it was possible for us to adopt a refugee where each and every one of us in the diaspora had one refugee to take care of. And it doesn't need a lot of money. That would be my ideal solution. I don't know if we can do that. But in the meantime, we need to be able to collectively get resources, financial resources, to have these people even have a smile on their faces, knowing that where they are was no fault of theirs. They just happen to be Southern Cameroonians. We have prisoners of war that are languishing in La Republic. Some of them have never had their day in court just because of what system that they have. In fact, the United Nations Community Against Torture, when they interviewed the ambassador Erhel Salomon about 2 weeks ago, said that the judicial process is the one that supports torture, where people are arrested without due process and get locked up indefinitely. We have war widows, we have IDPs, and these are all output of the war. We should consider ourselves blessed. We are blessed because we are not afraid for our safety. We know that there's a meal somewhere, even if it's 1 or 2 meals a day. They do not have that luxury. So we need to do it all in our power to support these war victims. The department has evolved. I remember in 2019, 2020, we used to do very little outreach. We raised funds from amongst ourselves and we're able to send money to the different counties for families to buy rice, soap, cooking palm oil, cooking oil, and a few other items. That's how we used to support them. But things have changed. We don't have people are afraid, I should say, to be able to carry out such endeavors because somebody would tell La Republic that AODOC is taking money from Ambazonia to buy things. So people are afraid. But we have a way of reaching to those who are brave enough to take care of IDPs. We've supported the prisoners since 2019, sending money for them to buy food stuff. And I want to appeal to everybody listening, everybody in the diaspora, that there's one formula that you can exploit. You have church members, people that go to your church. You have colleagues at work. You have friends of your kids, your kids' parents. You have just friends that you meet here and there that are not from Southern Cameroon or Ambazonia. Just tell them our story. Ask them to support. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. $10 here, $20 here, $50 there. And you'll be able to raise $200 yourself from all these individuals that I've recommended. All you just need is the effort to do so, the commitment to do so. If you do it, you'll definitely get the results. So our goal this year is to get $20,000. $20,000 for all these victims that have reminded us about: refugees, prisoners of war, IDPs, war widows, even Ambazonia ASA that are wounded warriors. There are many of them. And it's up to you, it's up to me to be able to carry out this and give them a smile for Christmas, which is around the corner. Be an angel. Be an angel. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. Barrister Fru, I would like to get your contribution on this whole discussion before we get to Barrister Mbesia. And then Dr. Patience will be concluding by explaining the framework of what she intends to achieve and what she has been able to do prior to this day. Talk to us, Barrister Fru.
Thank you very much. I've watched this program and it's very touching. More especially as most of the refugees are people of middle age and old people, and you see them, they suffer more than the young people when they find themselves in a country that is not theirs and live under the authority of some people in order to eat or drink. This is pathetic. Our case is very unique because we have two sets of refugees. We have those who are out of the country and they are in Nigeria and other countries like Ghana and in Africa. But we also have refugees in La République du Cameroon. They call them IDPs. Cameroon refers to them as IDPs and the world refers to them as IDPs. All these people need our help. I'm calling on all Ambazonians, both home and abroad, that whatever you have in your pocket now, take it out and give it so that an old man, a middle-aged, an old man, an old woman, a middle-aged man or middle-aged woman, or even youths or young children who are living in the refugee camps, and also those who are internally displaced, they call IDPs, both in Yaoundé and Douala and Bafoussam, who for some reason cannot even have a meal in 3 days. They need our help. They need the help of those of us who have been lucky so far to be in free countries, enjoying freedom, and those of us who are all over the world, both in Asia, South America, uh, the United States, and Canada, please, we need to come out and help our brothers and sisters in agony. What you see on ABC is very pathetic. It is so sorrowful, and we need to get together to salvage them for this Christmas. Christmas is a season that everybody needs to be happy. Everybody needs to be taken care of, especially the vulnerable people like those in the refugee camps, those who are IDPs, and those who are in prison. I happen to have had the experience of visiting people in prison because I was a defense counsel then, and I've seen the suffering in prison. Some of these prisoners can go for 2, 3 days without a meal. Please, let's do what we can do to help. And I take this opportunity to thank my patients and the women's wing of the government for this initiative. And all of us will come together and do whatever we have to do to to put a smile on each face of these people. Thank you very much.
That's amazing. And before Barrister Mbesia comes in, I want to say that the government of Amazonia is the only organization, as we speak, for at least 3 years right now, with the will and the ability to even provide something for our displaced people. So for those of you who are watching us either via Facebook or YouTube or any of our platforms, if you have any assistance, you would have to do that today or now. This week coming, it's your time to partner with this government and to ensure that they can actualize the vision, humanitarian vision that they have for our nation during this time of war. In October, we saw the HSS did a tremendous work. This government did it. All those who used to poster and politicize the environment are nowhere to be found. One of the reasons is because they do not have a clear vision for the refugees or for the war in its entirety. Another reason is because their funding is not forthcoming. Ambazonians don't trust them enough. You have proven times without number that you trust the vision of President Sako. This is actually a vision of President Sako once again that you would need to be a part of. Cameroon does not finance them to feed our refugees. Cameroon finances them to attack our fighters on the home front. We are the ones that can only finance to feed our refugees. Just to tell you that the actors that are at variance with this government are financed by Cameroon. They will not do anything that is of the benefit of our people. So we are left on our own. It is time for us to act. And the time for us to act is today. Barrister Mbesia, please.
Well, I think this is a humanitarian endeavor, and most particularly a humanitarian endeavor championed by women must succeed and succeed tremendously. Because the women, any woman, and in the case of Ambazonian, our women who champion this cause are the first type of evidence you need. Those mothers you see there, they are women, they are old women, but yesterday they were young girls. But in times of war, they are all called women. And one woman takes charge of that program, take it serious. Because a woman is a different type of victim. Whereas the men can run away from war, enter the bushes, and if need be, climb onto the top of trees and hide there. The woman cannot do that. The woman will run away from the war if she is able to. She will take that 2, 3, 4 children in her hands. She cannot climb onto a tree with them. She only be a lucky one to have the 2, 3 in their house. Some of them will carry some in their womb, and then some in their house, running away from war. Some of the 2 or 3 children you find may not even be children that they wanted to. They might have been victims of rape, which are all consequences of war. And so this is an opportune moment for us to see what it is, see from those faces. We don't see young men, young women there. We see elderly people who, in their natural ways, will not even be able to run. But they are being forced not to walk away, they are being forced to run away from danger. And so we think $20,000, as they estimated, it's been too small. $20,000 is not what can be above us, the willing donors, to raise. And why not raise even more than that? Because the war prolongs, the victims increase, be they in refugee camps or just internally displaced. Internally displaced does not mean running to Kumba, running to Douala or to Bafusam. No. A guy, a girl, or a man who runs from Batibo and ends up in the streets of Bamenda is internally displaced. That girl or that boy is going to be victim of rape. Is going to be victim of anything. It's an internally displaced because his or her environment is Batibo. His or her environment is Kembang, not Manfe. You end up in Manfe, in the center of town, be a boy. That's not the environment. You're going to face hardships that you do not want. Those are not voluntarily they are displaced people. And so they bring all this down, which go down to one thing. You can only assist them, you can pray for them, but what will make them change? What will change their situation is some money. Donate what you can. The widow's mite. Why not? If all of us give the widow's mite, if everybody chipped in something, I'm sure we'll end up with more than $20,000 that they have estimated. That will give us a better credit. That will give us the courage to do, continue fighting, knowing that by the time we come to the end of this battle, those mothers, those elderly powers will be able to see with their own frail eyes what they've suffered for. And so I encourage a woman and I congratulate them for doing so much. They represent everything that you can imagine. The sign of
Yeah,
pain. And over to you.
yeah. That was an elaborate, compassionate, and very important contribution there, Barrister Fru and Barrister Bessia.